Hello, and welcome to Steel Division 2. Today we've got a game between Colonel Koenig and myself. Actually, two games. I do intend to cast both of them in any case. And, well, today it's all going to be about the art of the opener. Colonel Koenig, generally considered a master of openers here. We can already see that he's doing a much better job than me at bunching up his units near the start here for an aggressive start. But I am playing Ryhmä Raappana, and he is playing his favorite division, Second Blindée. So, favorite versus favorite. We're going to have to see who's got the better opening right here. And I prepared quite something aggressive out in the open. And now, out in the open in Ryhmä is not somewhere where you would expect it to be, right? You'd really expect it to go heavy in the forest, which is why Koenig is really deployed lightly here. One of the things about Second E, though, so Second Blindée, is that it relies a lot on these Sept and stuff like this, and I'm not even sure why he brought them, probably for a lack of infantry, but these are TNT units, which already don't fall very well against Molotov cocktails. And, of course, the half-track's alright, but against a Lati, not so much. And, yeah. So, very, very light deployment from all these places right now. Really trying to get a lot of units in here, but I have just the thing for that. And, unfortunately, my Lati has... It took the wrong road, right? It was set to deploy somewhere over here, and I just completely screwed that up. So we're going to have the flamers get right on top of me now, and just force unload everything. Gosh darn it, and that's just like a gigantic load of stuff here that is now not only being flamered, right? These are not CQC units here. They still do a relatively good job against the flamers, though, especially once the Vacanted gets involved. And of course there's the 50 cal, but there's a lot of armor open here. And all my AT guns are pinned down for the time being. But Koenig, you can tell immediately that he didn't expect this. I've already killed multiple things with the brief time on target that the AT guns did have. And while these 50 cals are doing a lot of work, the Sissy are almost the perfect counter for that. Pack here gun. This pack gun as well, having more than enough penetration and a very high rate of fire to deal with all these M5 A1s as well. T26 coming up to back it up. And recon out in the open too. And I've completely shut down this little flamer rush here. So now I just gotta smoke off these units and really hope my AT guns recover in time to start putting some fire down range and cover all this off. But his M5 has moved over anyway. And so now I'm trying to get my AT gun on target, but the M5s do play down enough fire to cause that little thing where the AT gun is forced to move. So we're gonna have to fall that back. And now Sissy moving forward, having killed the last 50 cal. Nothing really happening in the north, right? I didn't plan on pushing too hard here, but Lati versus, Kari versus Sapper is generally a good idea. If this M5 wasn't here, at least, they both get pinned down, and they might actually just surrender there. TNT goes off. Second Yakari might get a pair of sweepers, but not that interesting. And this Yakari, of course, completely demolishes the flamers, giving me another flag. Now, because of the amount of units that he's just lost over here, really, this is giving me an advantage in this position as the 122mm, which I'm actually using as a direct support gun slash AT gun. It's a bit inaccurate, but 12 damage. If it does hit, it does kill. So even if you require 2 shots to hit, generally worth it. Both is coming out. Colonel Koenig knows that he needs to buy AA versus Raappana, and Voltager's coming in here to try and defend against that. Of course, still a single Yakari here. 2 more coming in for that. And now we finally have his infantry coming to meet mine. Sika versus Yakari. Unfortunately, they don't engage the same targets here, so the Sapeurs are able to get their TNT on for free onto the Sissy. And the Yakari here is stuck throwing its Molotov cocktail at the Flamers, which is also not a great idea. So, Flamers, I'm going to get forced out of this position. I-153 coming in. Gophers still not coming in. And so, do get a little bit of damage onto that card. Do manage to stress it out completely. And the T26 is going to be able to finish that off, no problem. 5 more coming in, though. Setting up for a little light armor push myself. Of course, this would be taken out by basically any kind of AT. And in fact, the Sapeurs here would be a perfect stop to that, at least on this road. And a light AT gun sitting in this forest would completely wreck these T27s. After it goes down, the Yakari's got to get back in a position, and now the Sissy have completely flanked out. 50 cal, really not in position to do much about it, as the Yakari moving forward, moving to this area. And yeah, 4 minutes into this game, Koenig is really feeling the heat of Pansari Divisiona. Another benefit, right? As these... Ooh, excellent. I-153 gets another kill here. Is that I can use this howitzer right away, even though I was deployed as a support gun, essentially. Right, so something to help deal with 50 cals, essentially. I could just start artillerying this Bofors, and sure, don't have radio range, but at that kind of a range, right, you gotta consider this is only within the 2,000 meter range. The bloom on this is actually not as big as you'd think. Maybe to the edge of the forest here. And for 122 millimeter, that is basically like radio range if I were over here, right? So more than acceptable there. And I only need to get lucky once or twice for that. Or we're still moving forward, though, so might just barely get out of the bloom. As the Hawk is not going to fight off against the P-38. And as good as the Hawks are, being cheap and everything, taking head-on against P-38s is not how it's going to win a game. Lastly, moving forward for the M5A1. More voltages coming in. We get the kill there. And now we just got a Yakari blob and no half-track to pin down the Yakari. As I just Q-move them into this area. And yeah. Hawk does go down. T-26. It was a mistake to fast move these. Really should have just moved out in the open, which I think was the intention there. But Sapeurs get 2 bazookas on, take out 2 T-26s. And so now the Sapeurs have paid themselves off. Yeah, but considering it took 2 bazooka shots to pay themselves off, that really is rather annoying for Koenig. And now I've got radio range on basically the entire map with these sissies. Oh man. 75 mil as well. Look at that. One shot. The second one's a little bit too far forward. But I got a second one, just in case this M5 gets any ideas about fighting the 122nd. And yeah, this Bofors has fallen back straight into my artillery. And what I've done here for this sissy is actually the Bofors, as it falls back, right, as I'm expecting it to fall back from the artillery, it's just going to fall right back into the sissy's path and it's just going to die to a sniper. I do find that great. And of course, the smoke here means that I can relatively easily run them away. More infantry coming in here. Yakari did eventually finish this off, so we're taking this flag as well. And balance versus balance. The income's the same, but my units are generally a lot cheaper than Colonel Koenig's. Sissy trying to find the 50 cal, but we'll have to see if I can. And now the blob of T-26s here is going to go for the M5A1, and they do manage to get it. Does have a great gun there. Just outside of the range of the M1 Grands here. Oh man, Sissy as well doing a great job for that. More Ratsavaki coming in. Ratsavaki and Yakari, dangerous combination in here, especially if you only got voltigeurs. Voltigeurs do well against CQC, but not against dedicated CQC infantry, and especially not against Suomis. So, in terms of a match here, right, which division is better? I would say in this matchup, definitely Ryhmä Raappana on this map as well. Does hold the advantage. Playing 2nd Blindée against anything that isn't the Panzer Division is usually very hard to pull off, in my opinion. It doesn't quite have the ability to fight against infantry in the way that you would want to. But yeah. Once again, my opener, these sissy here, and all this effort into the middle here has very much improved my chances. Where completely wiping out lots of Colonel Koenig's aggressive push here, expecting me to push very hard into the top area there, and even feinting to try and get that up and running. It doesn't quite end up that way, and I was forced to spend money on expensive units here, and the artillery's down. I've got, you know, cheap rocket planes coming in. My opener has definitely become a little bit of a problem for him. 8 to 16. There's a little chance for him to get back. These units here are just going to clean up the town. They don't even have voltigeurs, don't even have an MG. That's what they do, and they're cheaper, I think. So, yeah. As well as Lotties in the front here. Just a matter of time before IARs clean up the F4A2, and these units get out to this Bofors. Alright, so very, very dangerous there for Colonel Koenig. 19.5. That's the power of an opener. Already cleaning up down here. This is only an M4. I have completely decimated him. So, on to game 2. 470 kills to 1,045. So yeah, we'll be right back. So, game 2 here, versus Koenig and myself. This time we've got 3rd Armored versus 5th SS-Panzer. Now, 3rd Armored, right, in the Vanguard, or actually in V for Victory here. Generally speaking, I would not recommend going V for Victory first, and Koenig did because of the Vanguard deployment. But, yeah, Koenig, once again, this is the art of the opener. And we can see here, there's just a couple of M8s, right? M2. This is like really shocking how little he deployed up here, because it's all down south and he's going for it. Triple star M8 over here as well. So he's got 2-star M8s with an M8 commander, and my Panther is desperately. Basically, the problem with Illumancy here, if I can say it properly, right, is that you're forced to really deploy into the center of the map as this side. And like I gambled, because it was my Mac pick, I did gamble in trying to take this. And yeah, now we got a Panzerpixel here, which doesn't even manage to aim and shoot in time. All right, a single shot that doesn't do any damage. Oh man, just completely gets destroyed there. And now, unfortunately, he's got all these tanks on my flank. And now, these 50 cals are doing a great job at pinning everything down. Of course, he's got relatively strong amount of units here, as well as engineers into this area. And now he's got, yeah, M8s in my back. And the problem is with M8s, right, in your back line, these 2Ms are not fast enough. If I brought them in the other map, or in the other direction, they might have just been able to do it. But, yeah, these M8s are now gonna come straight for my Panther in a 1250 meter range. Wow, what an opening, right? Definitely could have been avoided if I put like a single Stoke down here, in my opinion. But we'll have to see what happens and how I react to this. Of course, really hoping my tanks do come down here, but now he's quick moving them. And he's quick moving the M8 as well. He's hoping to create a lot of chaos, and unfortunately, there's really not any light armor in 5th SS. One of the things that I did really do wrong this monthly is neglect to read the rules, right? So I've loaded my decks up with a whole bunch of strong divisions, and Koenig has loaded his up with mediocre divisions that he's just confident in. And now we've got Nicolucci like down as the M8s roll into my front line and completely ruin my day. Once again, Panzerpixel fails to do anything. All right, Backup Panther doing its best here, and now it is a Backup Panther, right? It's got more armor than the freaking M8s, but the M5 does have the ability to penetrate it. And this was going to go down as well. Flag 43 though, trying to do its best to pin down this M8. And I've had to deploy up quite low up north as well. Flamethrower and engineers, Cerberus, Sturmpioneer, and TNT unit. The 2Ms finally get into range here. Trying to do some work desperately. APCR do manage to get some loader kills on there. But yeah, look at that, 17-7. Quicker than I did in my game. And now we're really just waiting for Phase B to come out, right? He's completely decimated. Like 200 points right in the opening. More than that, I would bet. 2Ms do manage to get the better of some of these units, right? And for some reason, he's really not pushing this M8 as aggressively as he could. Second Panther coming in as well. What else have I got to pull in, right? Like, I need some kind of presence that he can't deal with for the time being, but we'll have to see if that pays off for him or not. Or for me or not, right? 18-6. I've got 6 fitteds here. Thankfully, Flag 43 is excellent. And now, M5A1 is once again shooting at the Flag 43. Another problem here is that 3rd Armored, right? Bazookas galore, and having played V for Victory here, Koenig has brought in the Armored Rifles bar, which you normally see in the later phases, being pretty bad on availability, coming in with 0 vet in Phase A. And now, yeah, Panther finally comes in, just barely in time to save this. But yeah, this M8 is relatively safe behind here. Sturmpioneer coming in. I thought there was like a unit or something that I had to deal with here. That wasn't just a half track, but this is what happens when you have a deck that doesn't contain anything. And to my credit, right, the 76mm, it can't really deal with the Panther. So, as a V for Victory deck, Koenig is going to have to find a way to deal with this. So he's going to move forward now. Kind of in close range combat. Thankfully, the 100 armor should be more than enough to take out both the M8 and the M5A1, if I do try for it. And these Flamwaffes are just desperately trying to rush forward to regain some flags real quick. But more armored rifles bar. Another one coming in as well. Yeah, not going to last long. That very, very overzealous. And of course, M5 gun on this ridge line here. A perfect position for it. 1500 meter range. Any tank that tries to exert influence over this flag is going to be very, very hard pressed. Flamwaffe, armored rifles bar. Flamwaffe actually goes down beforehand. And now the 3Ms are once again being flagged by the Z5A1 because he brought up another tank, right? They take forever to aim. Freaking German tanks. And now the M8 is doing its best here. As the Panther plinks away at the wrong target, of course. Thankfully, somehow, the artillery piece that I'm once again using as a direct fire gun did survive, and the Flak 43. So maybe the situation's not completely lost, but many players probably would have already given up at this point. And now I say time and time again, right? Don't give up. You can always turn around. This is a fairly hopeless situation for me, I would say. And yeah, so which opener was better? I think I like Colonel Koenig's opener a lot more than my little bit of a Pepega in Ryhmä Raappana. And I could show you that a player that generally struggles against me definitely has the power to do some very, very good things. Now, that's a good idea. Getting a little bit over ambitious, going straight up against the flamethrower. But I am desperate at this point. Finally got the 59 back. But it's not going to be enough. I need at least one more flag, and I was hoping it was going to be this one. Especially with the Panther covering it off. I didn't think there to be too much over here. But, alas, not going to be the case. And now we got multiple 3Ms and a Jumbo coming in. Jumbo, 190 armor. There's only 185 penetration on a Panther A. Right? This Jumbo is going to just be such a big problem for me over the course of this game. Flight 43 somehow not in a position. Palmer gets his bombs off on the Panzergrenadier here. The other Panzergrenadier went down to the Flamer from the looks of it. And now, unfortunately, Sturmpanius even budge these armored rifles here. Interesting to see that the engineers didn't go for the capture on this flag, but this flag is generally should be avoided in the best of cases. So yeah, 7 minutes into the game, right? Just a couple minutes for how long Colonel Koenig lasted in the last game. Ugh. It really goes to show just how much of a threat the right opener can be. Yeah, now that I'm M1 gun here on my flank, right? That's the danger of not capturing this forest. And of course, the 50 cals as well, is that they do very well in this kind of thing here. Panzer 3, I did split them up. I intended to bring this one over to go flank the Jumbo, but the M10's actually coming in for that. The armored rifles bar definitely saw it. And we're going to have to see if I can get on the side of this Jumbo here as the Panther moves forward, trying to engage it. Man, if I had waited just a tiny little bit longer with this, oh no, Koenig did see it, right? Oh man, okay, so he just out-bunkered me completely. Didn't even realize that at the time. 3M trying to get on the back of the Jumbo here, but actually, oh, it was facing backwards and I didn't engage in time. Oh, and it's fired at the M10. Jeez. Unfortunate there. Do get the M10 though, and now we just got a Stug versus a Panther A, which is never really what you want to see. And yeah, now that this M4 is going to get in, SK-18 goes down. Before Wolf comes in. Desperately trying to kill the threat on my flank here. Does manage to get it. No AA for the time being, but now the APCR trap has set up. And yeah, things are just going to go down on this road now. And the absolute pain that is Illumancy is going to make itself clear. Very, very clear. Panther falling back. I know that there's an M1 gun here, and I'm just going to have a ton of problems. Armored rifles bar together with the M10 actually take out the Panzergrenadier there. And yeah, now the M1's firing against the Stug. Panzergrenadier goes down. The Stug's fairly blind now. HE-111 comes in trying to deal with this, but he's moved it away right away, and I don't even manage to get the kill there. Right, potentially if I had something to follow this up, but then the M10 would have to be alive, and this is just... Yikes. Stug goes down. After the M1 gun still have range on that? Looks like it did. And yeah, like as soon as it kills things, Colonel Koenig moves it back. So, excellent micro there. The fight in the north here definitely being a bit of a sideshow. And while I have managed to make the flag, it's at the cost of my entire forces. So, couple minutes into going into phase B here. The V for victory income has created a lot of problems here, and 2 F8s come and try to deal with the jumbo, and they don't manage to get it. Wow. I'm firing away with the Panther, but once again, I'm now forcing to bring in the Panzer as the dinky way that avoids this APCR trap. There's a brief moment where it might be able to be spotted, but generally safe enough if you are in this position and don't have anything to spend to deal with this, to bring it around the side here. And yeah, these Foggles are doing work here, but really I need units that can hold the front line, and that isn't going to be Foggles for the time being. But they are paying themselves off, so we still recommend. And yeah, Panzer has managed to get this flag back. Panzer 4 coming in as well. Stone Pioneer finally manages to take out whatever's in here. 19 to 10. Got to move the Panther forward, and the Panzer get into this position. Panther's just rushed forward for some reason. Those Panzer 4s coming in. This game is over, I would wager. Alright, 40's moving forward. Panzer 4's desperately coming in to save the situation here, but despite the fact that he's got very little income, spending it basically on mortar carriers and M15s here, he's got enough frontline units to last him all the way down to when I'm ticked out. So, very much a Vanguard level of play here from Colonel Koenig. Might actually want to consider going Vanguard in the future, in my opinion. But, yeah. Well, that really shows you just how effective the right opening can be. So, we'll play to Colonel Koenig, and we'll play to myself for the first game, I suppose. And, yeah, just be cognizant of rushes and stuff like that. And try and really do your best. Yep, Jumbo gonna go down. HE-111 coming in with the armored rifles bar, but unfortunately the Stone Pioneer I think goes down before anything kill it, and the armored rifles bar kill the Panther here before they get pinned down, and the infantry is too late to create a significant breakthrough. Desperately try and move forces forward to capture flags here, but again, bazookas are in the woods. What's it gonna do? Moving forward. Kennedy is going down. And one guy is still freaking alive. These Panzer Grenadiers get pinned down. It's only 59. Yeah. Well played to Colonel Koenig. So, I hope you enjoyed that, and the lesson to take away from this. And, yeah, we'll see you in the next game. Thank you very much for watching. And, goodbye.